killed by the ongoing El-Nino rains that have wreaked havoc across the country, from floods, mudslides and associated disasters. Now, State House spokesperson Hussein Mohammed said that the cabinet, in an emergency meeting on Monday chaired by President William Ruto, came up with several interventions to help mitigate the effects of the El-Nino on Kenyans. Floods continue to wreak havoc across the country. So far, 76 people have lost their lives. The cabinet has today set out measures to deal with the effects of floods, setting aside 7 billion as a contingency fund to help flood victims.
The state had allocated 7 billion shillings, with which it is implementing various programs to address the plight of Kenyans across the country. The funds were appropriated by Parliament and the contingencies fund as part of the 2023-2024 financial year budget and supplementary appropriations number 1 of the same financial year. The resources committed will be applied for humanitarian response, including distribution and supply of medical commodities, food and non-food items, rehabilitation of infrastructure, and resettlement of displaced families. The state's intervention is being undertaken in a joint effort between the national and county governments, and which incorporates the Kenya Defence Forces and the National Youth Service in operation with the Kenya Red Cross Society.
The government now says it is an alarm stage as 38 counties are listed to be in dire need of assistance and greatly affected. A statement read by State House spokesperson.
As part of the preliminary assessment of the severity of the situation across the country, the meeting noted that 38 out of our nation's 47 counties are within the alarm stage, a stage characterized by flash floods, general flooding in low-lying plains, rivers busting their banks, landslides and mudslides, loss of livestock and destruction of farmland and infrastructure. Cabinet noted with regret that we have lost 76 Kenyans to El-Nino, while 35,000 households have been displaced. The most severely affected areas are in the northeastern, eastern and coast regions specifically, but of course there are more counties, as we're talking about 38. I'll just list them for you. In northeastern, the affected counties are Mandera, Wajir and Garissa. So that's the entire northeastern region. Coast also, the entire region, Kilifi, Mombasa, Tana River, Taita, Taveta, Kwale and Lamu.
The government says 10 billion has already been disbursed to counties to help in mitigating the effects of floods.
To fortify the national response, the cabinet sanctioned the following additional interventions. 1, scaling up the scope of humanitarian assistance to reach more than 50,000 households, especially in the arid and semi-arid counties. The cabinet also observed that to support county governments in addressing the disaster situations in their respective areas, the National Treasury last week disbursed 10 billion shillings of their shareable revenue. Cabinet also directed the National Treasury to release an additional 10 billion shillings to county governments this week, again part of their shareable revenue. And of course, the government is encouraging the counties, as much as it's part of the shareable revenue, government is encouraging counties to try and reallocate some of these funds to the dire situation now occasioned by these floods.
So far, roads have been washed away, houses destroyed and people dead. Brian Amwai, Look Up TV. Now,